tough, yeah, from a media point of view, it's always nice to show both sides, but they're still biased. Right. Right. That's the idea. Or biased, sure. All right, I'll let you go, and at least that. Thanks. Bye.
tracks are, goes out, because my car's down there, but I walked down this way and came up this way and came down this way. Well, see, I'm walking, but I ain't worried about walking. I'm just trying to get to my car quicker when I leave. I'm parked a mile away. I always park here, no way. I'm parked a mile away. I'm parked in some guy's cornfield down here.
There is a way to get out, sure.
I'm just thinking instead of walking all the way down and going like that, if I can just go like that, needs to come out on that same road that comes in here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know, because when I leave, I walk to my car closer.
Yeah, the entrance is at the fairgrounds. It's straight up there, and then it leads right out to that road.
When it goes out that road, that's before the railroad tracks? When the railroad tracks go across the road before you go in the city?
Not sure of that.
Okay, well, it's all right. At least you told me.
Closer if you go that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down that way and go up that way when I leave. All right, thank you.
Ooh, I like that pretty flag.
What?
You get your steps in.
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. I was sold for 26 years. Take that.
Well, they're probably going to be a little looser. At the end of last year, they were... No chairs.
Up to where they're letting people into the arena station are you with? Fox, like National Fox?
Please.
Local Fox? Hi, my name is Sam Cotton. I'm actually Mike Gibbons' comms director.
Okay.
Would you be any chance interested in interviewing him?
If we have two other crews out doing stories, I can tell them.
Yeah,
but I'm just screaming for the web.
Okay, perfect.
Tom Winter, we start with you and your reporting. What's the latest?
Right. So a couple of different things, Nicole. Our understanding of this is this all began yesterday, really in earnest, when the Trump Organization attorneys met with 8 or 9 prosecutors from Cy Vance's office. This, according to Ron Fischetti, who's the attorney for the Trump Organization, asking them, don't file these charges against us. Don't file the charges against the Trump Organization. Now, Fischetti says that the prosecutors in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office are kind of circling tax evasion charges potentially against the company for benefits that they provided to Alan Weisselberg, perhaps others, including the use of a company car or a company apartment, which they did not then properly document and file the taxes for. That's against the law. I don't know if I really see here a path forward where that would be the only thing that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office would seek to charge the Trump Organization with. Time will tell. Obviously, we'll know by this time next week. So that is our understanding, is that this is going to be filed sometime next week. We don't know the exact timing of that at this point. Trump Organization's attorneys have called it completely outrageous that they would consider filing this. But I think time will tell once we get a totality and see the fullness of the charges. Just a little bit of analysis here. The Times, in what you just read, said that they hadn't previously reported about the Trump Organization could be as a potential target for charges. That's something that we had previously identified as a target for charges. You can charge the organization itself. So let's think about this. And I'm not speaking to this with any sort of direct knowledge, but just from an analysis standpoint, you could go after the company for racketeering. There are those types of charges in New York. You could go after them for conspiracy or involving a scheme if this was part of a pattern and practice. And as you know, well, Nicole, we spoke about this when I interviewed Jennifer Weisselberg Weisselberg. They were looking at other apartments that may have gone, and she's the former daughter-in-law of Alan Weisselberg. They were looking at apartments that were given to her and her then husband. So I think that this is probably going to be a little bit broader than that. But again, time will tell. The only thing we know for sure is that the Trump Organization, that is the heart of the Trump family business and former President Trump's business, is expected to be charged next week.
Your reporting on this has been fantastic, and I do appreciate the distinction. I just want to build on what Tom Winter is reporting with you, Dan Goldman. I mean, even in the story in the Times today, it says the inquiry is also examining the organization's statements to insurance companies about the value of various assets and any role that its employees, including Mr. Weisselberg, may have played in hush money payments to two women during the 2016 presidential campaign. I mean, it sounds, as Tom Winter is reporting, extremely broad. It sounds like an examination of all criminal conduct. Is that the right way to think about it?
I think that's right. And I do think that we need to take with a grain of salt what is being fed to the New York Times by Ron Fischetti, a great and venerable defense lawyer who I did a trial against, but who is a defense lawyer and is going to try to shade things in favor of his client. So I think Tom's word of caution is very well taken here. I would be very surprised if they charged the Trump Organization simply with fringe benefits and executive compensation for tax evasion. And we know, for example, Nicole, that the Trump Organization misled their books and records and the regulatory authorities on the Michael Cohen hush money payments. So to the extent that they are going to be examining books and records charges or tax evasion charges, they will be looking at that. I would expect any indictment would be much broader than what the Times is reporting today. And if it does, the other thing that I think that's very noteworthy here is a lot of these charges in New York State carry very light penalties. It's very interesting to me that, and it doesn't seem to be coming from the Manhattan DA's office, but it's interesting and not surprising that they would approach the Trump Organization to tell them that they're considering to charge them, because that would be almost a death blow to the Trump Organization. Every single bank would call their loans if the Trump Organization is indicted. No bank will ever do business with an indicted company. And there's no way that the Trump Organization has enough capital to pay off all their loans. So they would be effectively in default of their loans and would almost certainly have to go into bankruptcy. That's a huge step. And there are all sorts of protocols and there's all sorts of evaluation that any prosecutor's office would do before they did that. In this case, New York State has a memo, the DA's office has a memo with 5 factors, and without going through all of them, none of the factors really favor the Trump Organization. So it's not at all surprising that they would approach the Trump Organization with a heads up and perhaps engage in some sort of settlement negotiations to avoid indictment.
Let me take a half a step back here and try to understand this development. I mean, it seems that if you take everything that is in the public space, Michael Cohen's sworn testimony, I believe he was on his way to prison or on a break, I think in questioning from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where he testifies and is never questioned to